Okay, this is going to be my first or second install video that I'm doing. I'm installing Teltek gauges. This is the speedometer here I got from Teltek. It just has 3 connections on the back, and then you hardwire in 2 other wires into the existing factory, and you're good to go. I already did the tachometer, got it, and it works as it should. It comes with instructions. This is what you need here though. This is calibration instructions, which that'll be a separate video if need be. This is the wiring schematic instructions. It seems kind of complicated. It's really not. If I can figure it out, trust me, you can too. I'm telling you. This is your factory harness right here. Let's see if we can. If I can get you a good shot of it, that wire right there is not even connected. Just like on the other one. Okay. Give me enough room to really show you guys like I want. Okay, you can see this is the harness that we're working with right here. This connects off the back of your speedometer right there. You just pull the 2 tabs, one at the top, one at the bottom, pull it, depress those, and I'll pull it right off. This wire right here I actually just called Teltek. This is for your trip meter. You don't need it. I was concerned about where I would connect that on the new Teltek gauge. You actually don't need it. You can do away with it. Teltek has it built in, all into one gauge. So this separate gauge right here, if you're driving a Peterbilt, it will no longer be of use to you. It'll just be there. But this is your harness right here. This one, and it's got your red gauge right here. That's going to be your power wire. Your red gauge right there, that's going to be your power wire. And where's the old gauge? Where's the old gauge? Oh, still connected, dude. This is your old gauge right here. It's got a wiring schematic on it, so it kind of helps you to tell what wires to disconnect, along with your instructions from the Teltek right here. So that kind of helps you out. I believe we're dealing with type 2 on this 2379 Peterbilt. Those wires is kind of confusing, so we're not going to try to confuse y'all too much with those. But so these wires, right, this diagram right here tells you which wires. So it tells you which one is your hot wire, which is your 12 volts, which is number 4. So that would be your one at the top all the way over. That's going to be this red one here. That's going to be this red one. So we're going to take that, we're going to splice that. You'll see that later in the video. We're going to cut that off and connect that to the positive post here on the Teltek gauge. I'm going to connect that red wire right there. And then your negative one, you're going to look on here. You got a couple of them. We're going to use the power ground, which is slot 3, which is going to be your bottom one at the bottom to the left at the bottom, which is going to be this black one. If you can see it, this black one right here that I'm touching. So we're going to splice that one off and connect that one to the negative post on the Teltek gauge. And then you're going to have 2 on your factory harness. It calls them signals. You got 2. That's going to be 1 and number 5. So that's going to be 1 and number 5. So that's going to be bottom. I'm going to call it my left. That's going to be bottom left and your middle top one. So we said bottom left, middle top one. So that's going to be That's going to be this. As you can't see it on the video, but it's going to be this one, the one right up under your ground. That's going to be a signal wire. It's actually brown. This one right here that I'm touching, and I'm going to show you where we're going to connect these two wires. It's going to be this one and this top one next to your red wire. Those two. So this bottom one and this top one, we're going to splice those off. And Teltek supplies you with this factory. I mean, with this Teltek. I'm gonna call it a JVC wire because it looks like the JVC wires or whatever. Audio wires, if you're doing any kind of speaker work or whatever. JVC jacks, I think it's called AV jacks, whatever. But this type wire right here, and it just plugs in. It just plugs in on your Teltek gauge, just like that. And then you have these two wires. They are zero polarity. It doesn't really matter which way you hook them up. There's no right, there's no negative, positive. It just, it doesn't really matter which way you hook them up. So these two wires, you're gonna splice into those signal wires that I just showed you, which is gonna be your bottom one under your red power one, which is gonna be brown if you're driving a Peterbilt. This is a 379 2000 Model P. It's gonna be your bottom one under your power one, and your one right next to your power one, this one. You're gonna cut those two wires and connect those to your signal wires, that JVC looking jack hook up that I just told you. Doesn't really matter which way you connect it. So after you do all of that, you're gonna see this wire here. This is an optional wire. It's not even connected from the factory. You can see it. You can see it there. So just don't worry about that. We're gonna leave that. Don't worry about that. See that? It's not even connected to anything. So that's this wire. So don't worry about that wire. And we said this wire below that is your ground wire. So after you're done, you got a wire below that is your ground wire that you're gonna use, this one here. And then you have your power wire, your 12 volts, you're gonna connect that. And this brown one up under there is your signal wire. This is your signal wire too. You're gonna connect that. All you're gonna have left is this green wire. You're gonna use all these wires except this two top one, this one that was optional, and your green wire. That green wire is for your your lights. That's for your lights. So when we come back, I'm gonna go ahead and splice those wires, and when we come back, I'm gonna show you how it looks after we done spliced everything and got everything wired in. All right, so we're back. Got the gauge partially in now. It's stuck in now. I didn't wire it all the way up. I wanted to show y'all. It's got this little cup. I should have showed y'all that, but it just sticks right on the back. This is what you use to keep it in place. You stick this little cup on the back, stick your two prongs through it there. It's really self-explanatory there. And you like I said earlier, these is I got everything spliced, diced, and made look somewhat nice. This is your positive here, and it's notated on this cup, so you know which one is which. The positive goes here. That's your negative down there. And then remember I told you we're gonna hardwire in, and I disconnected it because it was in the way. But this right here just plugs into the back of the speedometer there, and then you take these two wires right here. These are your two signal wires that I showed you earlier. Remember I told you it didn't matter which way it goes. This is your brown and white one there. From the factory harness, we just cut them out and put butt connectors on there, and we're gonna hardwire them in there just like that. Doesn't matter which way you go with it. Doesn't matter, but anyway, we're gonna hardwire those in there, and that's all to it now. Tighten everything down, and that's all to it. You can see I did the tachometer already. See the tachometer We got everything tight. Got the positive, negative there. Your AV jack plugged in. And then the tachometer and the speedometer is the exact same way. You got brown and white wire for your signal wires. Hard wire everything in. It's really simple. That's all to it. And then this is your factory harness right here for your tachometer. And I told you it's the exact same. The only difference is your other one is got speedometer. It's actually got a wire here. The tachometer doesn't. But same thing. Power, ground, 2 signal wires. You can see it a little better here. This is a little better display. Power. I was being nosy. Somebody arguing out here at the yard while parking. Power, ground. This is your signal wires that you can't get mixed up. That plugs into your I'm gonna call it the audio cord, JVC cord, whatever. Somebody correct me in the comments, but plugs into there. And these are the 2 wires that goes into there. This is your power. This is your ground. This is your light wire that I didn't even cut it. I just left it in there, so I don't have to worry about taping it or anything. But and that's it. That's all to it. Once again, it's your power, ground. So it's looking at it from the back. That's your power, your red wire, ground wire here, 2 signal wires. It's your light wire that you're not even going to worry about. And that's all to it. That's all to it. It's really simple. Power, ground, 2 signal wires. Signal wires here. And like I said, here it is on this promise. It's the same thing. Power, ground wire here. This is your 6 wire that I told you that wasn't even connected to anything. You don't even worry about that one on this one. This is your light wire that I left connected. Same thing on both sides. And this is your instructions. I'm gonna see if I can explain it to you via the Teltek instructions. We're gonna use this type 2 connector. And see how it says no polarity sensor wires, signal wires is what the factory harness calls them. And this is that audio JVC cord looking thing I was telling you about. That's going to be wired in to your different connectors there. That's pretty much it. It says, see, it says you have your 12 volts. You got 2 sensor wires, and that's your ground wire. And it says 6 is no factory wire there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, real quick there, in case somebody caught that, I know somebody be in my comment section talking about, oh, you did it wrong. I just looked at it again. I'm not using type 2, we're using type 1. So with this type 1, you'll see we got the sensory wires here. And it's kind of confused because we're actually looking at the back, but we plugged into 1 and 5. Remember I showed 1 and 5 is what we plugged into. And then we got the 12 volts here in the ground there. 12 volts is coming into, that shows bottom, but that's actually our top. That's actually our top. And this is actually the top middle one. So if you rewind the video, you'll see that's your top wire. That's your red wire that we cut, the power wire. And then I told you the middle one next to it, it's your signal wire, your sensor wires is that. And then the ground was the bottom I ain't gonna go left or right, but it was the bottom one up under the one that was not used. So it's showing top on here, but it's actually the bottom on our connector from how it comes out of the factory there. So it's actually, that's your bottom one there. For your ground, it goes there. So bottom ground goes there. And we said the top one goes there to your positive. And this is the back of your speedometer or tachometer. It's the same thing. And then we got the 2 sensor wires that goes with that with this actually right here, this audio cord and the thing right here. So you got any questions or any tips, a better way to do it, feel free to come in the section there. But I may do another video on calibrating it, but I'm gonna connect these wires here and button everything up, put this thing back together. I gotta go load tonight. Old chicken haul will come on. We'll load some frozen chicken tonight. But I may do a video later on of actually going down the road and you can see the tach and the speedometer working, you know, and I'll show you. Hopefully I got it calibrated right. We'll show you it against my speedometer there. All right, for now, y'all trucking safe. Gone. Okay, so we're sitting here getting loaded. I'm a real truck driver. I'm not some of these guys. They just make these videos and they shop hands or whatnot. We're real truck drivers making real videos. So we ran down the road, got everything. As you can see, everything works. It's all lit up and everything. So we ran down the road and the tach was off. The tachometer was off. I'm not sure about how much, but I definitely know it was off. If I can find out how to post pictures with this here, like I say, I'm just getting started. So if I can find out how to post pictures, I will do that, and I will show you the RPMs I was running. I wish I could turn them kind of RPMs. It was like 75 at like 1400 RPMs or 1300 and some RPMs or something like that. I wish I was geared like that. That'll be probably get some great fuel mileage like that. It's like 336s or 325s or something like that. But unfortunately I don't. I turn a little bit more RPMs than that. But anyway, so I had to calibrate the tachometer. We'll start. I had to calibrate both. I believe the speedometer was off too. I believe it was. So I had to calibrate that too. But I'll show you how I had to calibrate the tachometer per the instructions. First of all, if it's off, it's going to be preset to flywheel where 8 tachometer reads off your flywheel. It's going to be set to 1800. Is it 1800? No, I'm sorry. 118 teeth. Duh. 118 teeth flywheel is the default setting. My flywheel is actually 113 teeth. So, of course, it was going to be off. You have to call your dealer. You probably don't know how many teeth is on your flywheel. Just call the dealer or a cat or your truck dealer or engine dealer, and they should be able to tell you by your VIN number there. So, we got that calculated, and per the instructions, I'm gonna just read it to you. I'm not gonna do it again because, anyway. So with the power off, you have to press the press and hold the lower button, which would be this one. You press and hold it, and press and hold the lower button on the tach. Oh, no, I had to cut the key off. I'm not doing all that. But anyway, with the key off, you press and hold this button here, and then you turn the key on. You turn the power to it. And then once you do that, it'll say something else. Then it'll say 118 right here. Because I can't hold the phone, press this button, and turn the key at the same time. It's not gonna work. So you have to start with the key off, press this button, turn the key on, and then once you do that, it'll display, I forgot what it'll say right here. I don't think it's cal, but it'll say, I think it will say cal 118 or something. It'll say something 118. And then you just release this button here, and you decrease or increase whatever you need to do to be able to match up to the amount of teeth on your flywheel. Mine was 113, so I had to decrease it. Decrease it down to 113, cut the key off, bam, it's calibrated. The speedometer is a little more tricky. Let me find my paper for that. A little more tricky, but it's still not that hard. So how you're supposed to initially calibrate it, you're supposed to run down the road. Well, it says, I'm just reading the instructions to you. It says, if you're doing it by GPS, which I did, it says press and hold the trip switch, which is this switch here. You press and hold the trip switch, and in 12 seconds, a number will display on the odometer. It says keep holding it until cal is displayed in the center display. It'll say cal right there, and then you release your trip switch there. Drive 1 mile, and then you stop. Drive exactly 1 mile, stop, and then write down your numbers. My number was 1800. Then you press the trip switch again for 2 seconds, and it's supposed to be calibrated. But mine was still off by about, seems like about 5 miles an hour it was off. So in order to calibrate it, what you have to do is you have to press and hold the trip switch, which is this switch here again. Press and hold the trip switch until a four-digit number is displayed in the odometer area. It'll be displayed right down there. It'll be the number or close to the number that you written down earlier when you drove your 1 mile. But if it's off, and then once that number pops up, at the same time you hold this trip switch, and then you hit the miles an hour switch, and then it'll say adjust or something, and it'll say release it. Yeah, to say adjust in the display area there. Okay, and if your speed, for every 1 mile per hour that your speed is off, you reduce that digit that's going to be displayed down there, you reduce it by 25. For every 1 mile per hour that is, for every 1 mile per hour that is, higher, you reduce it. I'm sorry. For every 1 mile per hour that is slower, you reduce it by 25. For every 1 mile per hour that is faster, you increase it by 25. So if you're like me, your speedometer was off by about 5 miles an hour, so you do 25 times 5, that's 100. No, that's 125. Yeah, that's 125. So you would increase it by 125. So then once you do that, you release the button. You hit the miles per hour to increase it, and your trip to decrease it. Let me make sure I told y'all that right. Yeah, and that's how you do it. So then after you do that, it will be that number down there will go away. It'll say CR or something right here, and then that number right there will go away, and you should be calibrated. Once we get loaded up here, we'll give it another test run and see what we got. Any questions, comments, or concerns, comment in the comment section. If you know a better way to do it, comment that in the comment section as well. Try to make that as simple as possible. Like I say, it's definitely not that difficult. If I can do it, you can. Till then, stay safe, give me a like and a subscribe.